This morning I'm in Derbyshire. Well, nearly in Derbyshire. Hotly in Derbyshire. I'm at Creswell Crags, and it's a site that straddles the border of Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire. I'd best be careful again, otherwise I might spontaneously combust. Can I smell burning? Now on the main drive in to Creswell from the entrance and down to the rather noisy visitor centre, there's a series of 6-inch posts down one side of the road, and at the moment these are being well used by 3 species of ladybirds: 7-spot ladybird, harlequin ladybird, which as you'd expect is the commonest, and this one. This is the orange ladybird, which isn't one of those species that you'll come across with great regularity. There was talk that the harlequin ladybird would dispose of this species, but it hasn't done and it won't. And here is the visitor centre at Creswell. It's a smashing building and it's well worth a visit and a wander round, and there's a nice little cafe here too. But I'm not going inside there today, going for a wander round. Now the autumn is a great time for appreciating a tree that for the rest of the year you wouldn't bat an eyelid at. This is spindle, otherwise known in old money as Euonymus europaeus, and it's famous for its bright Barbie pink covered berries. The berries themselves, well, the seeds are actually orange, but the seed cases are a fantastic, rich, bright pink. It's a spectacular thing. But for the rest of the year, it's nothing. The flowers are insignificant. If I remember right, the flowers are just green and small. But it's in the autumn when it produces a fantastic show. And here at Creswell, this is an fantastic example. It's a clouder. Beautiful, isn't it? To be honest, this is one of the best berrying ones I've seen. Well, seeding ones, should we say. And now that sun's come out, there's a bit of warmth. But it's a glorious shrub, fairly common in hedgerows, and often defoliated by one of the ermine moths, or a couple of ermine moths that feed on it, and they will completely web up entire lengths of hedgerow containing this. And here's the open gorge and the lake. It's a beautiful spot. On the left is the Nottinghamshire side. Unfortunately in shade today, while the Derbyshire side is in sunshine. But it really is an absolutely beautiful spot. There are definitely species awaiting discovery here for those willing to put in a concerted effort. Well, there's plenty of ferns here, and in particular hart's-tongue fern, and consequently with hart's-tongue fern you get the larva of Psychoides felicivora, one of two species of Psychoides in Nottinghamshire. And the larvae, as you'll have seen on recent videos, live under this covering of frass and the remains of these Sprungaria, I think they're called, or Spungaria. It's turning up pretty much everywhere now where hart's-tongue fern especially grows. And of the two species, it's Psychoides felicivora, which is the commonest. And you can see where the larva's been feeding on top of the leaves by these pale brown mines almost. So surprising we didn't record this species here a number of years ago, but it's certainly here in numbers. I'm just looking at this wych elm that is growing straight out of the rocks, and you can see how the roots come down over the rocks and down this almost bit of scree directly in front. An elm and wych elm has suffered greatly this year. In fact, Dutch elm has made a comeback and has been quite rife this year. There's a wych elm at the end of High Street in Market Warsop that has died this year because of it, and numerous of the growing suckers of what is left of the old English elm have died this year. It's an event that happens every so many years, probably every about 10 years, once the suckers of English elm gets to a certain stage, certain size, and it then cops it. How that disease changed the look of the English countryside. Millions of trees went with Dutch elm. It was truly devastating for the countryside. Now, for those that love their arachnids, you'd be in heaven coming here, because the sides of the stone outcrops are bedecked with an assortment of cobwebs. Now, most of the webs on the stones, like these, are all cribellate webs, and these are Amarobius. We'll put them down as species because it'll be two main species that will be living on here. Possibly you could have all three species of Amarobius, but there will be other spiders around here, Tegenarias, But the most famous spiders live in several caves that Creswell Crags is famous for. And the caves of Creswell are home to one of the UK's largest spiders. It's certainly the largest orb weaving spider, and it's Meta Menardi, which is one of 2 cave spiders found in the UK. And Nottinghamshire's other cave spider is Meta Bonetti, and that's found in a more unusual location. As far as I'm aware, there is just the one location in Nottinghamshire, and it was found a number of years ago during a spider survey at Sherwood Forest. I mentioned that it's an unusual location because the colony is under an old rectangular manhole cover from it's that old, it's got the GPO on it, so you can tell how old it is. That's before the days of British Telecom and whatever it is now, if it's still going at all. And Sherwood's cave spider is Meta Bonetti, which is very different in appearance to Meta Menardi. Now, a number of years ago, I did this myself, along with the friendly rangers at the time, lifted up the GPO cover to photograph and see Meta Bonetti ourselves. It's an impressive thing, I can tell you. It's impressively large, and it seems relatively docile enough. And the egg sacs of both species are very large. These really big egg sacs. And one egg sac of Meta Menardi was found to be populated by 100 or so spiderlings. And we were very fortunate to get photos of this egg sac and the spiderlings in it. It's hard to capture how deep this gorge is, or how high these cliffs are. It is a cracking place. I'm just thankful that part of it's in Nottinghamshire, and that we have got somewhere like this that we can say is in Nottinghamshire. And here's one of the entrances to the caves. I think this one is the only one accessible to the public on this side of the lake. And you can see that when you go in, you climb up some stairs. Hopefully be able to get in and show you, but tremendous things, caves. And these caves are also home to a couple of hibernating moths that overwinter, namely Herald, and I think Tissue is the other one that's been recorded here. And they can be found roosting on the cave walls and on the ceilings. This is the bottom end of Creswell Crags, nearest Creswell itself. I tell you what, this has some of the best ivy, or examples of ivy, that I've ever seen. Presumably these are several plants that are growing up the rocks here. But they must almost be as old as the caves. Amazing. So this is now looking back. This is on the Derbyshire side, so I've got my asbestos shoes on. You can never be too careful, you know, and I'm heading back now towards the visitor centre. It's a shame we've lost the sun at the moment. Well, another party of school kids coming to look in the caves. Well worth a visit, as long as you're not claustrophobic, of course. And we've got a bit of blue sky turning up again. I'm going to continue heading down there. My belly's rumbling. It's getting to that time.